Warning, this is about a horror movie. I will talk about the plot. I will not spoil it, but just in case horror scares you, I just wanted to let you know first.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you enjoy this dancing Babadook as much as I do, because I made it and then I laughed hysterically when I put it in this video. Anyway, 6 months earlier, so about August of 2020, I painted this beautiful rainbowy background. I just put lines of paint down and then I swirled them around together without muddying them up, which is hard to do. And I loved it, and my original plans was to paint something over it, but then I was so afraid I would ruin the canvas that I didn't do it for 6 months, until now. So today we are going to paint the Babadook. Why the Babadook? What is the Babadook? I will answer these questions for you. The Babadook is a 2014 Australian psychological horror film. It's written and directed by Jennifer Kent, and it's her directorial debut. The plot is, I'm not going to give away spoilers, but it's about a widow living in the Australian city of Adelaide who has raised her 6-year-old son Samuel alone. Her late husband was killed in a car accident that occurred as he drove her to the hospital during her labor. At some point, her son starts to display erratic behavior. He becomes an insomniac, and he's preoccupied with an imaginary monster based on a book called Mr. Babadook. And so, yeah, shenanigans ensue from there, as you can imagine. So if you like psychological horror films, I would give this a watch. It's a really good movie, from what I can remember. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a few years. But the reason that I'm painting him today is because I believe it was 2017, so about 3 years after this film's release, Netflix had it, and they mislabeled it as an LGBT movie, which was hilarious to a lot of people. So they sort of just took that and ran with it and started making memes about how the Babadook is a gay icon, and it's great. And it has no basis in reality, and I think that's what makes it so hilarious. So, do yourself a favor, look into some of the memes, it's quite funny. So this is the first paint with me that I've ever done. It's not a tutorial because I don't consider myself really an artist, and I haven't taken any type of art class since high school because I did not think that I was any good, to be honest. I had it in my head that I couldn't draw, and that just extended to painting, I guess, but turns out I don't think I'm super terrible. I mean, I feel like things come out looking like what they're supposed to look like, so that's kind of the point, right? But also, I enjoy painting. I find it very soothing. I like a project. I like just putting on some chill music and just, the paintbrush on the canvas is just very relaxing to me. I also like painting because anytime you mess up, you can just go back over it, which you'll see later in this video when I start to work on the Babadook's face, and it doesn't come out quite right. But what does Bob Ross say? There are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. I mean, I don't know if it was a happy accident, but it was definitely a fixable accident, so. I'm doing the little bit lighter black color around the hands because I was hoping you'd be able to see the hands on top of his black garment if I did this. I kind of outlined them with a little bit lighter color. In the end, I don't think you really can, but I tried. Trying techniques. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning and growing. And that's all we can ask for in this life. That's not true. We can ask for a lot of things. But one of those things is learning and growing. Like, if I stopped learning and growing, what am I even doing? I'd be very bored. How do people do that? Just stay stagnant forever. This is going off topic. Also, my apologies for the bottom part of this being cut off. I promise you're really not missing much. It's just the bottom of him, which really doesn't have details. He's basically just wearing a cloak. And later in the video, it'll move slightly again because I knocked into the camera and didn't notice that it moved when I got up to get something. But if I'm not working on the normal space that I usually work on, which is that I put a board on top of a little movable table to make my recording space bigger, but I didn't want to get paint on it, so I'm just using the table, and it's a very small space. So if I had the camera up so that you could see the whole canvas, you'd see around the table and see my floor and stuff, and didn't really want that. So don't worry, you're not missing anything at the bottom of the canvas. I tried to cut out any time that I was painting at the bottom so that we didn't just have wasted space. But yeah, sorry about that. You'll see the full picture in the end, I promise. Now I'm working on his mouth. You'll see too, painting's a really trust the process situation, because right now it looks a hot mess. But when I finally get down to the details of like his eyes and his teeth, it really comes together at that point. So I'm not going to talk through this whole video. I'll maybe pop in and out if I think of something to say. But until then, I hope that you enjoy the music that I provide for you. It's at this point that I had gotten up to get something and I bumped the camera and didn't notice that it had shifted, and so now you can't even really see his hands. I'm sorry guys, I can't go back and re-record once I've already painted the thing. That's not how this works. Anyway, I also realized the eyes don't look right. I brought up my source material, which was the drawing that I did of him, which is the GIF. Yeah, I say GIF. The GIF that you see at the beginning of this video is my drawing of him. So I brought that up on my iPad so that I could kind of see what I was doing, because I couldn't remember exactly what was white and what was black on his eyes. Look, I feel like people throw too much shade for like source material. Like, I'm obviously painting something that already existed. You know, his particular image didn't come from my brain. I didn't make him up. So if I want to bring up source material, I'm going to bring up source material. And y'all can keep it to yourselves. Don't even sound off in the comments about it, because I don't care. I'd rather it look right than like try to pull things from my memory. Come on now. Anyway, so yeah, so I messed up on his eyes. Didn't like the way they came out. So I painted over them with white. I'm going to have to go back in and do another second coat of white so that I can go back in and redo his eyes. This detail that I'm trying to put in there right now is, I wanted to sort of make him look like he had like a little bit of a suit jacket on. So I'm kind of giving him lapels. I fight with it for a long time, and in the end, you can barely see it. The picture that I drew of him looked really cute, but painting it didn't translate for whatever reason. So while I'm coloring in his jacket not coloring, but painting his jacket, I'm not trying to like make it a fully matte situation. Like, I like the texture of the paint behind it, and I like the look of when it's a little scratchy, like a drawing, or it's like colored in with like a pen or something. So I'm not being super meticulous with making sure that like every bit of the background is covered with the black paint. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just the way that I liked it. So I got up to get my Posca paint pens to try to do some of the detailing of his eyes, or yeah, I did not wait until it was dried. So his eye looks so sad. So yeah, so I recover it back up again, and then I went and toned my hair that I had just bleached to force myself to stop trying to do it while it wasn't dry. I came back a little while later and it was mostly dry. His eye still wasn't like 100% dry, but the rest of it was pretty good. And I'm gonna ruin this paint pen. Don't judge me. I'm trying here to like thin that out a little bit because it's a little bit too thick. And I just wanted to make it a little bit more even, and sometimes that's easier with the pen over a brush. So now I'm going back in with the probably the thinnest brush that I have and doing a bunch of detail around the eyes and nose. And now the teeth, and really I feel like the teeth are what bring it all together for me. The same thing happened when I painted a Pickle Rick rock. Yes, a Pickle Rick rock. And it just, the second that I put those teeth on there is when it became Pickle Rick. The teeth and the eyebrow. I'm sorry if you can hear dogs barking. My apartment is right next to a dog park and they will not stop. Sorry about that. It's very quiet, but just in case you hear that. If you want to see the Pickle Rick rock, there is definitely pictures of it on my Instagram. So you can definitely go look at it there. It's one of my favorite things I've ever painted. And I've painted a lot of rocks at work. So now I'm just going in and really trying to add a lot of detail to really make him who they are. And I'm also using a little bit of water to kind of muddy the black and the white together. They're a storybook character in the movie, so they're a little bit drawn together in black and white, almost like maybe drawn with like charcoal or pencil or something like that. So I'm trying to give it that type of quality. All right, that's it. Honestly, that was mesmerizing to watch while I did the voiceover, so I hope you guys enjoy watching it. I wanted to pull off the tape for you because I know some people find that nice to watch. I like doing it sometimes. Oh, also, I forgot to explain the tape. The tape was just so that I made sure to keep the Babadook centered and not go off to the left or right too far. The one last step that I have is that I put some sealer on it so that it doesn't get scratched and stuff, and this is the final product. So I hope you guys enjoyed this paint with me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and go follow me on Instagram. Thanks, bye!